All right, we are here today with Miss Amaiya. My name is Sonia Reed, and I am a master's level counseling intern at Tri-Synergy Counseling. This is my good friend Amaiya, and I will allow her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her.
Hi, guys. So I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I did my undergrad at Mississippi State University, Hill State, and
Okay.
I got my undergraduate degree in psychology. And it is the first thing that piqued my interest about anything regarding mental health. But I think I always had that bone in me to always be able to help people. A few little things and tidbits about me. I am really big on poetry. I love poetry. I wrote a poetry book in 2020 and dedicated it to three of my family members who passed away. And it's a really big part of who I am. I think it's one of the other things that help my mental health other than helping other people. So it is called The Middle Child, and it is available on Amazon. So
Okay, the middle child.
I love that piece of me. Other than that, I'm an Enneagram 4, so big dreamer. I love everything about learning about things like the Enneagram and just getting more personal with yourself. Love yoga. I have been vegan for almost 2.5 years now. I love the plant-based lifestyle, getting to explore different recipes. I'm a big cooker. I love to cook and figure out all the good things. And those are the big parts of me. I moved to Nashville and have been in the MFT program at Lipscomb University, and I've loved it here ever since.
Awesome. So you talked about your undergrad being at Mississippi State and how you went for psychology. Why did you want to choose therapy, like MFT? Why did you want to go that route?
Okay, so I guess a cute little story of really that in general is, so I took the psychology class and I was originally a nutrition major. Really quickly found out that that was not the route that I wanted to go. I literally remember sitting in front of my mom and was like, well, I like helping people and I love kids and I also like food. Let's do something with that. And thought nutrition was the route to go. In the midst of taking that class, though, and figured out it wasn't my thing, I also took intro to psychology. In introduction to psychology, they gave us all of kind of the basic jobs that you could get with having that degree. And I was listening to it and just intrigued and just bright-eyed. And I was like, this sounds like something that I can really get into. And I think what really pulled my attention the most is that I felt that I was already that person for a lot of people in my life, to be able to really be a support for them, really look in on their mental health, always being their advice friend or something like that, and just always having that caring bone in my body. I thought that maybe therapy was the way to go. And also having my own experiences with being in therapy and knowing how much my therapist at the time was a support for me. I was like, I would love to be that for somebody else. And then the psychology class just wrapped it up with a big bow. And next semester I was out of nutrition and in the site.
Yeah. And so you talked about your own experience with therapy. What is your vision for your therapy practice if you were to open one? Like, what do you envision it to be?
Yeah. So what I really envision is lots of support. The first thought is lots of support for the BIPOC community. I've always been a big advocate for people in the Black community in particular to really branch out and ask for the help that they need, because a lot of us are shamed into not doing so and thinking that it's not for us.
Right.
And I want to be able to really extend the care that I give to everyone, but a special type of care for people that are in the BIPOC community, because it's such a hard thing to even start to begin to ask for the help, because you just think that people don't care. So that's one of the first things that come to mind when I think about what I envision for a practice, but that being the foundation to care about everybody and all of that be very equal. I'm also a really big EFT person. So I think about couples and having a big support for couples who are interracial or interreligious, and just knowing that there is a support also for them too, to not change their values and what they believe about being in their relationships, but knowing that they can actually coexist and it can be okay. Because as I continue to see clients and just get my hours and things like that, I see a lot of that, and I feel like that's a big part of what I want a part of my practice too, to know that it doesn't always have to be you go into therapy and you figure out that maybe this isn't where you want to be. I just like to pull a lot of the positivity out of those relationships too. And I think EFT does a really good job of doing it.
Awesome. So I really, really like how you talked about EFT. So for people who don't know what EFT is, can you explain a little bit about that and why you choose that module to use?
Okay. I love that. So EFT is emotionally focused therapy. And what I always like to describe it is, it's like kind of that textbook therapist that I see most of the time on TV, and people, it's like, how you feel? What's that feel like? And it's always that. So that's the vision that I get. But it focuses a lot on the connections that the emotions make, and how sometimes we miss out on that part when most of us come off as very logical thinkers. And EFT for couples is so powerful because you get to really get into your partner's emotional world when you guys are having these connections, because the emotions take you to a different place before your thoughts ever even get there. So it really fits into it very well when you get to talking to these couples and they're telling you all the context and the details. You're asking, well, how did that make you feel in that moment? And what's the most powerful thing about it is that your partner gets to hear you explain that in such a safe space during that moment. Because when you're at home, nobody's asking how you feel until you learn to have that skill. And that's what EFT teaches you as well, to tune in to your partner's emotional world. So it's a couple of the best parts about it, I think.
And so you talked about couples a lot.
Yeah.
Are those your like clients that you want to see? Are those your ideal client? Or would you like to tell me about who your ideal client would be?
Yeah. So for my ideal clients, I really think couples is up there for me. Originally, when I got into the program, I chose it because it was a marriage and family therapy program, and not just, a surface level thing, like just individual therapy, all of those things. But I really am into helping couples and families all together. So definitely up there. But other than that, I work well with men. And that is not something that I always thought, but men that are in the BIPOC community, I typically work very well with. We mesh very well, and also just men in general, from any race or sexuality, anything. So I think men are up there in my caliber of people that I really would like to be able to help, because I think using EFT and even CBT is really big for them as well, because they sometimes are forgotten about in that same way as how I explained about the BIPOC community in general. They think that it's not okay to ask for the help. And I love to be a support for men to know, like, it's okay to feel the feelings. You're a complete human, and society puts such a negative stereotype on men feeling their feelings and questioning their sexuality and all of the things. So definitely men, BIPOC community, and couples. And I like play therapy, so I think that I work really well with kids too, ranging from, I would say, about 5 or 6 years old to right around 16.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I truly I love the birth to 5. That's my category.
Really?
I love the little babies. So I truly enjoy that. So you mentioned like working with Black men particularly.
Yeah.
And I love that because I'm a BIPOC supporter too. Yeah. But we mentioned that. So when we talk about like working with the Black community, what are some things that a non-Black therapist you would want them to know about working with this community, specifically since your passion is for Black men? What do you want them to know specifically about working with Black men?
Ooh, I love this question. And the very first thing that comes to my head is cultural humility. Really badgering into that cultural humility. It is not enough to just know the facts about what we as Black people can experience and also with Black men experience. It's not enough to just know and see the things on the news and read the articles and the research. It's not enough. You have to go the extra mile of really gaining that experience from that Black man that is sitting across from you, and always leading with curiosity and asking them, I know about these things, I've seen these things, but it's okay for that therapist to say, I don't know your experience of it though. Would you be open to sharing it with me? And always leaving that door open, even though you may know the criteria and things that Black men go through from what you see, but you don't know their personal experience. And I think it does so much for them to have somebody sit across from them that is different, but they can feel so seen by. So always leading with curiosity. And I think the idea of cultural humility gives you a perfect picture of that, to never stop learning. Your job is never done as a therapist when learning about, if we think about race, gender, sexuality, even religion, everything. It's always your job to never stop learning. So I would definitely tell a therapist that for sure.
For sure. I truly appreciate that answer. That was a great answer. And I truly love your passion for Black men, because there's not a lot of therapists who can say, no, I want to see Black men. I mean, I'm one of those therapists. I definitely want to see Black men in the LGBTQIA community. Like, those are let me see y'all. So I get that passion behind wanting to see like people who look like us, getting in that whole realm of, I understand you, you understand me. There's less that you have to explore and explain here, right?
Absolutely.
So what does it mean, for one, for you to be a Black therapist, and then two, for you to just be Black girl magic?
Yes, I love that. I think I wore a perfect little saying. I don't know if the video.
Black and bougie.
I think just thinking about, I almost get emotional even when you ask that question about what does it mean for me to be a Black therapist, and I really see that it means for me to be support. And when I say that, I think about so many people who feel like they can't be in my position, and all the little Black girls who think that their job opportunities, the success that they want to have, stops at a limit. And me being in this position and being a Black therapist proves they're wrong.
Right.
Somebody to put that on them, that you can't be in these fields, or a certain type of person is supposed to be a therapist, and that I'm living proof that that is not a fact. And I'm very good at what I do and what I'm learning to do. And having that strength to actually be a Black therapist and feel like I'm confident in what I do. And I won't let anybody belittle me because of those things as well. So it really means a lot of support and just being inspiration for little Black girls. I talk about that a lot in my poetry book that I mentioned, and being dedication to all little Black girls who feel like they're unseen, unheard. And when I hear what does it mean to be a Black therapist, that they're the first ones that I think about, and being an inspiration and wanting to make my community proud. And I think that's another thing about being Black, that our community is so tight-knit in that way. Like, we love to see each other doing good.
Right.
There are those ups and downs, and people can say what they want. But I think when you're in the community, you know how tight-knit that feels. Like, when people see, other Black people see a Black therapist, they're like, oh, she's doing it. I love that reaction. It's like, oh, you're doing something. And I'm like, yes, I am. I love that part of being Black. I love being a Black woman. At that, I think it is so powerful. I love to be able to switch my hair and be in the office one week and have one color, and then the next, and then now it's grow, and maybe I cut it off, and maybe I don't. I love everything about being Black and just being unapologetically me. I would like to really be me, and I could never leave out me being a Black girl when somebody asks me to describe me.
Right. Because look, that's what we are. Black women, hey. Black women. I am a woman. I am Black. All right. Let's not forget that. You can't not see me, okay?
All of it.
Yes. I appreciate your passion. We definitely carry the same passion in this work, and I love that we're so like-minded. And that just believes for me that like this next generation, they're already talking about how this next generation is coming anyway. Like I think with people like us being at the forefront of saying, hey, mental health is important. Like you don't got to be in therapy for 18 years, but mental health is important. So I truly appreciate being a catalyst for that, you know, right along with me and other people who are part of Tri Synergy when it comes to that BIPOC population that we want. Like, hey guys, we need it. Like it's time for us to start looking inward and assessing some things that happened in the past, you know. So I truly appreciate that, and I love all of your comments to your questions. Like great feedback.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add about being a therapist, being a Black girl, doing amazing things out here in this world, or anything like that before we hop off?
Yeah, I think that it's so important to have these conversations and being able to get more information about Black therapists in general out to the world. So being able to have these interviews and talk to Black therapists and pick their brain for a minute, I think that's such an important part of when we talk about cultural humility too, because we can't expect everybody to know everything. But we do our part of doing things like this and putting it out for the world to see, to say, hey, there are Black therapists out there who care about the Black community, and that's their specialty. That's who they want to see, and being able to do that. So I just love that I'm able to be a part of this, and I'm so grateful to be able to do this interview with you today.
Yay! Well, that is all that I have for today. I'm going to go ahead and push stop on this record if I can figure it out. We're going to stop this recording. Great.